Good evening and welcome to Africa News Network First Fast Live. My name is Cindy Mabi. And our top story this half hour, South African jazz legend Bra Hugh Masekela has died at the age of 78. Masekela was suffering from prostate cancer since 2008. In October, he cancelled a scheduled performance at the Hugh Masekela Heritage Festival in Rockville due to ill health. And Bra Hugh was born in Gwaguqa Township in Witbank and began singing and playing the piano as a child. Masekela took his last breath in Johannesburg earlier today.
Bra Hugh really was, you really run out of words, because if you talk to anyone who interacted with Bra Hugh, mentorship and mentoring young people was something that came just natural with Bra Hugh, and I got the opportunity, the most amazing opportunity, to create a new work. We created a piece called Songs of Migration with Bra Hugh that played at the State Theatre, that played at the Market. We took it around the world to Washington, D.C., to the Kennedy Center. We played London, the Hackney Empire. We played a venue called Het Carré in Amsterdam. It was just, for me, being around him was almost going through a masterclass all the time.
Like the very sad news, Bra Hugh passing, obviously he can't be replaced, man. He was legendary with everything he did, from struggle to music. Yeah, so condolences to his family.
My condolences goes out to Bra Hugh and his family, and to other artists. Actually, I think we're all recognizing how important our icons are, how important our musicians and our artists are, and that we have to take care and celebrate them now. We have to take care and celebrate them while they are with us, and let them know how much we love them when they're with us, and not try to gather when they've passed and throw all of these beautiful celebrations, but they really don't know much about them if they're gone, right?
When you hear news like this, you hope it's not true. You hope it's a hoax. I mean, Bra Hugh was a very strong-willed person, and we know that very well about him. And so, when we heard about his cancer, we struggled with cancer, because of the strong person that he was, we were very hopeful that he would fight through it. So it's very heartbreaking. Bra Hugh was a library, so it's very much like we have lost a whole library. He was not just a musician, he was, a world musician, an international musician, but also a very strong political voice. And so that was very inspiring for me personally in this age where mostly artists are seen just as being just artists and entertainers only. But he had a very strong political voice, and so that was very inspiring for me personally.
Nothing has happened that hasn't happened. Death is not my friend. Death is not something that I have to learn to respect it. But really, it's just a gateway that it numbs everybody. And Bra Hugh. Bra Hugh, you've left us. You've left us with a gift. You've left us with riches and richness. I just wish, Uguti, we this country don't play these people when they are dead. We should, while they are alive, they must be celebrated. You will hear now these hypocrites who say they love us. Now they're going to be playing us because it's newsworthy. They're going to be playing Bra Hugh for a week, and then they will dump him. So, Bra Hugh, you have left us in big problems, man. And as we go forward, we hope with Bra Hugh, you'll be a great Lozi. That you, Bra Hugh, will come back and finish what you haven't finished here, Bra Hugh. Bra Hugh, I don't like these things that you guys, you die and you leave us with this nonsense that we have to face. Now, I heard Osmara saying that this is an industry. Osmara has never been in an industry. Bra Hugh has never been in an industry. We've always been a sector. Bra Hugh, we have to turn this into an industry. Please, Baba, but you cannot rest in peace. You must help us. You must finish off what you started, Commander.
Like, I'm lost of words. I'm really lost of words. I don't know, yesterday it was Brother Robbie Malinga, now it's Bra Hugh. I'm really lost of words. I knew Bra Hugh long time, we all have been looking up to him as well, the legend that he was, and working with him as well in one management company, which is Team Music Man, with Peter Tladi. We worked together very well. I knew him when I started. I did my very first live DVD at the State Theatre, 1995. Bra Hugh was one of the artists that were there to support me as well. He played a part in my career as well. That's why I said I'm lost of words. I'm like lost of words. Really, may his soul rest in peace.
Breaking. Even though we knew he has been ill for quite a while, but we thought it's a battle that he will actually win. And, when we had the news this morning, when everybody was like sending me messages, I thought at first, it's a joke. And, I've heard from the news and everybody's like, no, it's true. The giant is gone. That's all that I can say. We just so heartbroken to lose yet another legend, especially in the field that we belong to, jazz music. He was the father of jazz. He was a legend. He was, he taught us so much. We've learned so much. We collaborated with the young ones like us, and I'm just so heartbroken to lose another great giant in our industry.
The numbers, the lines are open to you on 011-203-5120, 011-203-5120. As we appreciate the baobab tree that has fallen, Bra Hugh Masekela, you're welcome to share your tributes on social media. It's at ANN7TV or at I am Cindy Mabi. Joining us in studio is author, singer, actress, legendary entertainer Mara Lowe, a veteran singer and actress. It's such a privilege to have you in studio. I am such a groupie, and I think, a lot of us owe you and the likes of Bra Hugh Masekela eternal gratitude for the contribution that you've made and the fact that talent doesn't seem to be appreciated until it is late. What is your initial reaction to the passing of Bra Hugh Masekela?
That's the sad part. Unfortunately, Bra Hugh, I would say he made it. Even in South Africa, I would be surprised if there's anyone that would say they don't know Bra Hugh Masekela. But the fact of the matter is, most artists, the only time you become popular is when you've had to travel overseas. And when you come back home, you're not as highly appreciated as when you're out there. I mean, I've got experiences of that myself. By at home, it's like There's
just familiarity in a sense that
not that we want to be treated like larger than life or anything like that, but the passing of Bra Hugh has really touched me. I know we're all gonna go one day. No one's gonna live forever, but I just think it was just too soon. This cancer, I don't know where is it coming from. Suddenly, it's spreading like, I don't understand. I had hoped that somehow Bra Hugh will pull through, from the pains that he's been going through. I had hoped that a miracle would happen because last year when he announced that he's taking a break from performing, I became very worried. I called him and he says, and that for me was very sad. For a man who enjoys being on that stage, I mean, he lights up that stage. You wouldn't even say Bra Hugh was 78. I would put him around the 60s. But no,
I think
he's
we
my
all
big
have,
brother.
yeah, for all of us that had the privilege of seeing him on stage was the energy. You know, it was completely electrifying. You would have to drag him off that stage until everybody else had gone. Bra Hugh would still be performing, sharing his talents with us. We take calls on 011-203-5120. We're joined by Justa in the Northwest, and Mel will come to you next. Justa, good evening to you and thanks for joining us. What's your tribute and homage to Bra Hugh Masekela?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yes, the best memory of me from Opayu, the real legend, is on 2004, 2002. It was on the 24th of October, around 3 o'clock. After I get the job from a company called Spazon Security. And then I just go there and call my mom and say, my mother, I've got a job.
Yes.
And my mother was...
I'm just going to ask you to summarize, please, my brother, in the interest of time. We have other callers as well.
Yeah, so after that, after I've called my mother, I then just go back to my room, and I just get a store that said, Umama wan uyajabula. That's the best memory of my life.
Oh, bless you. Oh, thank you so much for sharing, Justa, in the Northwest. Amal, good evening to you and thanks for joining us.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. And you?
Thank you. Sandeep. My name is Mervyn. I'm from Welkom in the Free State.
Yes, sir.
Just want to say that this guy was a real legend. You know, I met him, I actually saw him in Welkom in Bronwell in the 1990s when he was performing with the legendary Manhattans from the United States. And, you know, songs like Grazing in the Grass, songs like Timela and those legendary songs, you know, it will live with us forever. And he's also played with legendary American artists like Dave Grusin, Brentford Marsalis, and all those guys. I just want to say, Bra Hugh, we love you and please rest in peace, my brother.
Thank you so much, Mervyn. Of course, he did play with the world's heavyweights and graced international stages, performing in front of royalty, clergy, and even commoners like you and I. We have Aaron, who's calling us from Soweto. Good evening to you. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. What's your contribution?
Great. I was to monitor an event in Bra Hugh here at the El Stadium. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, we lost that line. Apologies. I'm also joined in studio by Blondie Makhene, veteran singer and a social activist as well. Togwaz, I'm good to have you.
How are we?
We are very well, and you know we bless Bra Hugh Masekela's soul that he now has brought us together. And I think the discussion around the appreciation of talents and how we honor are great, again comes to the fore.
Amen.
Umara was just sharing, you know, her experiences touring and performing, but the character that he was as well is something that we can emulate. The humility that came with it, didn't take himself too seriously, but an intellectual of note.
Yeah. My first opportunity in Bra Hugh, like a really close opportunity with this god of song. My wife just died. And he realized the pain that I was going through. And he had only one medicine for me. He says, Ntwana, Zwagala, I'm doing my album, and I want you and Kaya to work together, Kaya Mahlangu, and produce my album. There was no better medicine than that. For a while, I forgot my pain. And Maufiga gule khudman uzosebenza nayo. He like, yeah, milady, siyasebenza ntwana. Yeah, sure, Bra Hugh, sure. Do you know how to laugh? And like, how Bra Hugh? I said, no, milady, if you can't laugh, fire ntwana, go and find yourself another job. Yeah. And I don't want this mlungu laughing.
You know, speaking of Oksega and the character of Bra Hugh, also the fear that he had living in exile, and this is told anecdotally, that he feared losing the proficiency of his language. In other words, Sesotho, Sezulu, African languages, that he was so protective over our identity. And these things even surface today. Yoguti, we only celebrate Heritage Day once in a year, for example, you know? I mean, how do we take those teachings and learnings forward, Mara?
You know, we need to pull ourselves towards ourselves, you know, and start celebrating ourselves, our heritage, who we are, you know, and start loving ourselves as African people.
But Sis Mara, how do you start loving yourself when mainstream media always tells you how messed up you are and how you can't get anything right?
No. You know what? If you
driving us away from each other all the time, continuously.
You know, if you follow that stuff, you'd live a miserable life for the rest of your life. Now, Bra Hugh did not follow that stuff.
No, he didn't.
Bra Hugh made it through all the challenges that we experience as artists. He still made it through. I ignore those things you're talking about of the media.
I like what you're saying, that what we do,
you know, I was just
industries.
telling Cindy that this year I'm celebrating 50 years in the industry.
Yes, ma'am.
I started in 1968 performing at Gibson Kenter's musical Sikalo. I was still at school, and I just persevered through all the criticisms, the ups and the downs. They pull him down, pull him up. They love you today, they love. For me, those people don't mean anything. Focus. And Bra Hugh, that's one of the things that Bra Hugh taught me. You know, when we talked, he says, don't worry. You know, I remember there was a nasty article in the newspaper. And first thing, I got a phone call from Bra Hugh. And he says, who's it? He says, Kekiso, don't respond. He says, he used a language which I can't use here. He says, don't let, he says, that whatever will die its own natural death. Do not respond to them.
I'm sure he said BS.
Yeah. Yeah, he says that BS will die its own natural death.
Please pardon me, we have a caller. Hendrik, thanks for your patience, calling us from Mpumalanga. Good evening to you. Hendrik?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. Hugh Masekela, a man of lot of talent, a comedian, a musician, a saxophonian. You know, I met Hugh Masekela in 1996 at Vista University in Mamelodi. Oh, what a man. You know, we lost a legend. The hero has fallen. I don't know what to say. But I think...
words are inadequate, Hendrik. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's, with our panelists who've shared intimate moments with Bra Hugh, and especially the laughter, the fact that, you know, he even corrected me. Even to now, I'm not sure how to pronounce Masekela, because it always says Masekela. So at times you weren't sure whether he was being playful. I know when I had a weave on, he would refuse to even come to me, you know, he wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole. You know, what's that hair, foreign hair that you're wearing, you know?
Now, me and him, we agree when it comes to that. I'm also a little bit not comfortable with that, with that stuff.
So,
you know?
but I mean, he was very.
Now. You can wear your wig now.
I suppose I'm allowed at the funeral.
No,
but I mean,
you're still not allowed. I'm still around.
No, but I'm saying that he allowed the individual expression, not necessarily to harm, but to express his honesty and his authentic spirit. In your view, that the pretense sometimes runs away with us, especially if you're of that stature, that you feel you need to be something that you're not.
Yeah. You know, I remember an incident when Bra Hugh found out I was suffering from a hip. I had to go and have a hip replacement operation. Now, before I did the operation, I was starting to walk with a stick, with a cane. And he met me, go kill animal. And he says, no, he says, maybe you must go and get a trolley. You know, pretend you're pushing a trolley.
You must always put your best foot forward. Let's talk about performances. Let's talk about his most joyful time, which was his happy place, that being the stage. You know, the preparation that goes into the artistry.
Yeah. I remember when we did a tour with him. We went to France, to Paris. It was myself, Bra Hugh, Gwangwa, Dorothy Masuku, Dolly Ratebe, Busim Mhlongo, Jabu Kanyile.
Wow. 2
months shows packed up every night, almost a month and over a month. And every night, you know, performing every night. Every night was like, it's like we are so fresh, but he just oozes that personal, that energy that he just rubs it off on all of us. There was no time when you felt like, hey, yeah, there's you know, there's no way. Bra Hugh, I love when he starts to dance. I mean, for me, it's like, okay, if the topic can dance like this, I can also get down.
Indeed. I remember Bo Moretele Park, of course, those were flagship events that if you didn't have a crowd puller like a Bra Hugh Masekela, it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But you always had to wait until the late hours of the night, and then he comes on stage and blows you right away. I mean, if you just think of songs like Aliseli you know, and for me, I think that's what the music will speak to. But it also speaks about passing the baton to younger people. He's collaborated with so many youngsters, wanted to start an academy, you know, so many plans to ensure that we don't lose that rich cultural heritage.
I was still hoping that I would have an opportunity to work with Bra Hugh, you know. Like I told you, there's a movie coming up of my book, and I thought Bra Hugh would be the first choice for me to work with him in terms of the music content in the movie. And you know, you keep hoping and you wish that no, you know, I've heard some people have made it through, the cancer has subsided and they're getting better. And that's what I was praying for all the time.
A message to the family, of course. I mean, we all own a part of Bra Hugh Masekela, but he's got children, he's got Bula Moaleng, you know, condolences.
Bra Hugh has not left us wanting. Those that have not experienced him, his philosophy, his thoughts are in his music. Bra Hugh, even when he wrote a song, his sister Barbara called him long-winded. He writes the story from the beginning to the end. So we have lost. Yes, we have. But what he's left behind is more than gold. The teachings, his prophecies, you know, when he says, Mugabe, when are you gonna go away? You know, and all those prophecies, you know, they have come through and they've come true. The struggle that continues after him continues now. We have been a sector. I was commenting on Sismara this morning. I said, and we all want to be in an industry. Unfortunately, we don't have an industry. The industry is monopoly capitalized. It is white. They pay people every month. Until we can pay someone every month for doing our work and have people work for us and we can pay ourselves every month, then we have an industry. So us going forward as Mbasa, it is our duty to make dreams of men like these to come true, so that when children come into the field, they find it cleaner. Because right now, this industry and this sector is in a pigsty.
Yeah, I mean, Bra Hugh spoke about that displacement in the song Stimela, you know, migrant labor, which has left in its wake the destruction of the nucleus of the black family. You know, that has led to cheap labor that has perpetuated the struggle even going forward, and that is unfortunately still the reality.
Separated a man and a woman and a child. If you can wedge politically into this one unit, you must understand that family is the most sacred unit. And if this is disorganized and is disintegrated, that's what you see in our country. That's how enemies can come in and just do what they like. And Bra Hugh was that family man. Throughout and throughout, he made sure he had his family with him.
A Pan-Africanist of note.
A Pan-Africanist of note.
What I'm going to miss most about Bra Hugh is the laughter. You know, there was no moment.
I laugh a lot. Come on.
Come on, Blondie.
Wanting empty victories. It's not even about you.
No, it's not even about
With
you.
all due respect.
She says, I'm going to miss the laughter. No. He left us the laughter too. How?
It's not about you. Bra Hugh was, you know, I don't know whether the word in terms of we used to enjoy.
That's why their younger selves are chacharak just like them.
No,
but the one thing, don't call him Tate Hugh.
He's always been Bra Hugh.
Ek moet jou mag geslap my lady.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, he put you in your place very quickly. And I mean, if you look at some of the prolific performances that he's had, I mean, we always talk about people, South Africans, having done great things. He was an iconic South African in that sense.
I usually say that he missed the old age home bus. When that bus came about, he was just getting out of bed and boom, the bus went, and he stayed with us, and we had to do with this young elder.
An eternal teenager, almost, you could say, an overgrown teenager, but very, your words of comfort to the family, Osmara, as we close.
My words of comfort, it's specifically the whole family, but specifically for Os Babra. You know, Os Babra has been by the side, Bra Hugh, for as long as I can remember. You know, you can never separate Os Babra and Bra Hugh. It's not like, you know, some family units, you can always say, Hannah, who's the other, you know, and we're always thinking about Os Babra. And I can just imagine how she feels right now. And Mutlale Pule, you know, and the grandchildren, Boma Busha, you know, all I can say to them is, Bra Hugh has worked, he has placed us in the whole world to get respect with our art in South Africa, who we are. He has represented us 101%. And the pain he was going through these past couple of months, he's resting now. Let's let him rest.
Amen.
Amen. We're going to leave it there. Thanks indeed, Thokoza. Thokoza Mkhulu, that's Blondie Machene, veteran singer and social activist, and Osmara Low, a veteran singer, actress, and published author. And you at home, thanks indeed for calling in. And we say rest in peace, Bra Hugh Masekela. We're back after this.